asking the questions, well, why would we choose to rehash this harmful history? Isn't that divisive? I mean, we're no longer experiencing slavery. Jim Crow is behind us. Segregation is a thing of the past. And I'd respond with a couple of thoughts. First, we can't possibly pursue our own promised land without knowledge of our own wilderness experience. And I'm thinking of the quote, 18th century by Edmund Burke, which says, "Those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it." My second thought would be the Emancipation Proclamation of 1862, the 13th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution in 1865, and the Civil Rights Act of 1964, while all very necessary, did not abolish racism. Racism has outsmarted legislation. Racism is stealthy. Racism evolves. Racism was well integrated into the fabric of our nation's founding and is hidden beneath the guise of social norms. Racism often can't be seen, can't be heard, or even touched, but it can absolutely be experienced in hiring practices, criminal justice, educational institutions, and unfortunately, yes, even within the church. There wouldn't be a black church were it not for racism. As painful as our history is, I believe on the other side of that same coin is joy, justice, and peace. Remembering is worship. In my context of youth and teen ministry, serving youth and teens is very much about getting to know them and the experiences that have shaped them. But it's also about having humility and allowing them to teach me. I've served for over a decade, and I still believe I've learned twice as much as I've taught while engaging youth and teens. What I've learned is that God doesn't intend for us to erase our past. Past hurts, past trauma, and tragedy are unfortunate and worthy of our grief and lament. But to simply erase and pretend like our past isn't ours to own is to rob God of his omniscience. It's also robbing God of the opportunity to be praised, to be worshiped, and revered as we see in Joshua 4. I love to practice journaling. I've practiced historical, devotional, and even revelatory journaling. I have the most experience with historical journaling, and I believe it's probably blessed me the most. It ensures one thing, and that is that I never forget. Sometimes I'm reminded of a prayer that I failed to even recognize had already been answered. Sometimes I've forgotten the anguish of a past experience because of my current contentment. But one thing that has been consistent and constant, when I revisit my historical journal, I'm always blessed by how God has consistently kept me, protected me, and rescued me from my own sin. Communally, we walk alongside youth and teens, entering into their stories